You guys, woo-wee! Great morning, you guys. I'm fired up. I got my hot tea right here, so you know I'm super fired up. It's going to be great. I'm super excited for you guys as we're all starting an amazing new week together. Mondays are my favorite day because it's new week, new opportunity, new experiences, and we get to create a new us by what we put into our minds. So today we've got an amazing video by Tony Robbins. He's going to be talking about the keys to a happy life. He's going to be sharing some stories. I love when he shares his stories. I went to one of his live events with Roxy, 10,000 people. Ridiculous. So you're going to get some of that today. Make sure you're taking notes. I got my notebook right here. There's something about writing it that when your hand moves on the paper, it connects it to your brain that much more. So remember, you only get a percentage of it if you just sit there passively and listen. Your subconscious will pick it up, yeah, but your conscious won't pick up a lot of it. Actively listening, thinking of what you're going to say after, writing down your key takeaways, reviewing your key takeaways later. These are how you make more of a percentage of the material stick to you. And when it sticks to you, you have a better life. So let's get it. Without further ado, my man, Tony Robbins, the key to a happy life.
That I became wealthy. I'll tell you the day, I know that day I was rich. I was broke. I was pissed. I was angry at everybody else but who? Myself. But really underneath it, I was mad at myself. I just couldn't beat myself up anymore, so I was pissed. And I had a friend that I loaned money to when I had barely enough, and I knew he needed it. And I gave him $1,200, and I'm here not able to eat. I'm down to like $25, $26. And I'm saying to him, calling him, and he's not returning my call. And I just need some money, and he's ignoring me. I didn't ignore him, so I'm pissed. I'm frustrated. In the midst of all this, I'm also pragmatic. I got 25 and change, call it $26. What the hell am I going to do? I don't have any plans for economics. I got overhead that's crazy. I live in this little tiny apartment, 400 square feet in Venice, California. So I thought, okay, when I was totally broke early on when I was 17, I used to save my money up and go to the smorgasbord and load up for Christmas, load up for the week. So I said, I was in Venice. I'm going to go over to Marina del Rey where all the yachts are, and there's a place there called El Chorrito. And I'm going to go. They have an all-you-can-eat smorgasbord. I'm going to load up for the winter. I'm going to get there. So I didn't drive there because I wasn't going to spend the gas to get there. Plus, I needed to walk. So I walked there. And I go in. I'm not dressed really great, but it's Marina del Rey. It's okay. And I got a place right by the window, and I can see these yachts going by. And I'm dreaming of what life could be like. And I'm starting to let go of my anger, and I'm starting to focus on what I want instead of what I don't want. How many follow? Say I. And that shifted me just a bit. And now I'm eating, which shifted me a lot. And I got this giant plate stacked up. And I don't know what the amount was. It was like, whatever it was, $6.95, $7.95, right? So I'm going to do this. I could probably do this 3 or 4 times, right? Somewhere in that range. As I'm finishing my meal, this little boy comes in, dressed in a little suit. And I honestly don't know how old he'd be, probably in the 3rd grade, so maybe 8 years old, 9 years old, something like that. And he was so adorable. And he opened the door for his mother. And his mother was an attractive lady. And he came over and he pulled out the seat for her, and she sat down. And she was a pretty lady, but as pretty as she was, I was totally obsessed by this boy. He had presence at 7 or 8 years old. And it moved me. I don't know why, it moved me. And I thought, this kid is like pure. I want him to always be this way. He's such a good kid, he's a giver. So I got up and I paid for the meal, and whatever it was, $6, $7. So now I've got whatever left, $17, $18, $19. And I walk up to this little boy, and I said, excuse me. And I said, I just want to acknowledge you for being such an extraordinary gentleman. I said, I saw the way you treated your lady, how you opened the door, how you pulled the chair out. I said, that's class. I said, my name's Tony, what's yours? I don't honestly remember his name, Charlie or something. And he looked up at me, and I said, Charlie? I said, that's amazing, taking your date out for a lunch like this. He goes, well, actually, she's my mom. And I said, that's even more cool. And he said, oh, but I'm not taking her lunch because I think he said he was 8. I said, oh, yes, you are. I had no plan for this. I just reached in my pocket. I took all the money I had left, $17, $18, $19, and I put it on the table. I said, you're taking her to lunch. He looked up at me and he goes, I can't take that. I said, sure you can. He said, why? Because I'm bigger than you are. And he smiled real big, and I didn't even look at his mom. I just turned and walked away. And I didn't walk out of that door. I flew home. I should have been freaking out. How the fuck am I going to eat? But I didn't. I flew because something inside of me had finally got past scarcity. Had finally realized there's something inside of us more than our limits, especially around this thing called money that I had let terrorize me. And I got home, and the mailman came that day, and I had no idea I was going to have my next meal. And a letter comes, and it's from the guy I loaned the money to. A handwritten note saying, I've been avoiding you. It's wrong. I'm so sorry. You were there when I needed you. Here's what I owe you plus a little bit more. And the $1,200 was there, plus another $100 for the time that I had to take care of it. And for me, $1,300, that was enough to run my show for a month or two. And I cried. And then I decided, what does this mean? And I thought, this means that whenever you give, it's always going to come back, so you don't have to ever think about that again. Just give. And the rewards will be greater than you can ever imagine. I don't know if that's coincidence, but I decided to believe that day was a blessing when I became rich. And I can tell you honestly, I've had tough days in my life, economically, emotionally, like all of us. But I've never gone back to that scarcity. I never will. The secret to living is giving. Do it when you don't have it, and I promise you, scarcity will leave your life. Sometimes we get in our head there's one way, and if we don't get that, if we don't get that money, or if we don't get that job, or if we don't have this relationship a certain way. So what you have to do is set a goal. You got to say, okay, if you looked at your relationship and you went, okay, we have so much love and certainty, but there's not enough variety and significance, then what are you going to do to create some variety and significance? And you start coming up with all these cool ways to do it, and it becomes a game. And when you start doing that, now your relationship is pure magic, because now it's meeting your needs for certainty and uncertainty and significance and love. And anything meets at least how many needs? How many? Will become an addiction. Do 4 or 5. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you meet one of their needs, you're going to have an acquaintance. You meet 2 of their needs, you're going to have a friend. You meet 3 of their needs, you're going to have a deep friendship or love. You meet 4 of their needs, it's going to be a deep love. You meet 5 or 6 of their needs, you're going to have a love slave. They ain't going anywhere. But it's got to be you meeting their needs, not the other way around. And then you can educate them to meet your needs. You can help them to show them what works. But first you meet their needs, because you're loving them. Love is not a trade. You need an excuse to feel good. What if I don't need an excuse to feel good? I can just feel good for no good reason. How many like this idea? Say aye. Now notice when I first said it, you guys are kind of quiet, processing it, like, I don't need a reason to feel good? Well, how do I know to feel good? Some people see that sounds really naive. Really, most people don't need a reason to feel bad. How's it going? Feel like crap. How come? Woke up. And people go, I understand. What if you went to somebody and said, how's it going? They go, I feel so great. How come? I don't know. I just feel good. You go, take that guy to the psychiatrist. Right? They're manic. They're crazy.
What if I told you that there's a business that can help you lead a completely fulfilled life?
Right? They're manic. They're crazy. But somebody else who's depressed and angry and frustrated, you think that's totally normal. That's the cultural hypnosis that we've all been in, no matter what country we live in. People come to me all the time, and they'll come to me like this, and they'll go, Mr. Robbins, I don't know what it is. I just feel down all the time. Why do you think I feel that way? Someone say, I feel so up. Why do you think I feel so up all the time? I don't know. Maybe it's your body. People come up to me and they go, Mr. Robbins, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I'm angry all the time. Do you know what it is? Perhaps it's your face. See, do we get in habits of using our body, our face in a certain way over and over again? Yes or no? And those produce our emotion. Once you're in that state, you'll behave in a way that creates more of that emotion. When you're angry, you'll do things that make you more angry. When you're sad, you do things that make you more sad. When you're excited, you'll do things that make you more excited. How many follow? Say I. So the secret is to build emotional biceps, emotional fitness, by going in these states over and over again. Normally, when I'm trying to explain to someone what is an extraordinary quality of life, it's different for everybody, right? Really, an extraordinary life is life on whose terms for you? And so everybody in this room has a different model of the world of what that would look like. What would be an even more magnificent life? What would be an even more extraordinary life? There's only 2 master skills to do this, and I want to remind you of those 2 skills because it's still the 2 skills for life. What's the first master skill to having an extraordinary life? Do you remember? It's the science of achievement. If you're going to have an extraordinary life, one of the master skills for actually creating that life is mastering this. Mastering the ability to take what you envision and make it real. There's a science to achievement. There's a science to, for example, money. I just spent 4 years, as most of you know, interviewing 50 of the smartest people on the planet financially. I learned more than I ever imagined. I got a PhD in finance from the people that control the world economy. And they're all people that were not part of the lucky sperm club. I didn't interview anybody that got it from their family by birthright. I did it with people that all started with nothing. And I began to see there's common patterns. And once you know what those patterns are, I don't care if you're young or old, I don't care what your color is, I don't care what your gender is, I don't care what country you're from. If you understand the science of building wealth, you can have abundance financially. If you violate those rules, either because you're ignorant to them or because you just don't apply them, you're gonna have financial stress. There's a science to the body. Everyone here is biochemically different, but there's certain fundamental rules, laws, that if you violate them, you're gonna have a lack of energy. If you really violate them, you're gonna have dis-ease in the body. That's what it means, dis-ease. It comes from violating those rules. If you align with the rules of achievement around the body, you'll have an abundance of energy. You'll feel strong. You'll have an extraordinary body and the extraordinary energy that comes with it. So, science of achievement is something most of you are quite obsessed by, or you wouldn't get to a room like this. But there's a second master skill to have an extraordinary life, and that second skill is the art of fulfillment. When I talk about the art of fulfillment, what I explain to people always is, I didn't say science of fulfillment. Why not? Because it's different for everyone, just like art. What one person thinks is beautiful, somebody else might think is ugly. So if you want to know what's beautiful, as many people there are on earth, it's an art because everyone has a different view. If you want to know what God loves, the universe loves, go to the forest and see it. It's called massive diversity. It isn't a science, it's an art. But that art, unmastered, will create an ugly life. An ugly life. And the phrase I use most often that I hope you've heard me say and you take it in once again, maybe deeper, is success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. But if we don't physically make a decision how we're going to live, then we'll show up like everybody else because the human mind is not going to make you happy. This brain, if you don't do it, you have to direct it. And there's no worse fate than to achieve everything and not be fulfilled. How many have had the days where you achieved this huge goal and your brain always wanted it and you got it and then your brain went, is this all there is? Who's been there? It's the worst experience. It's worse than failing, isn't it? Because most of you are achievers, so failure never stops you. You just look at it as a little bump on the road. I'll try something, what? But when you succeed and you fail, when you succeed and you're not fulfilled, that's scary. A business has a purpose. The business is not about you. If you really have a successful business, that's how you know you have a business. It's about your clients. Some of you have fallen in love with your product, which will guarantee failure. You need to fall in love with your customer, or perhaps you need to fall in love with an ideal customer, not the one you have right now. In 2008, 2009, many businesses went under because they kept selling the same product or service instead of seeing what the customer needed today. Some went out of business because their customer had no money and they should have found a better customer, one that had money even in 2008 or 9. Here's the belief I'd like you to try on. I don't need an excuse to feel good. What if I don't need an excuse to feel good? I can just feel good for no good reason. How many like this idea? Say aye. Now notice when I first said it, you guys are kind of quiet, processing it. Like, I don't need a reason to feel good? Well, how do I know to feel good? Most people don't need a reason to feel bad. How's it going? Feel like crap. How come? Woke up. In a moment, I like you to celebrate for no good reason just because you decided to. But I mean really celebrate. So you're going to rise up. Are you ready? We'll clap. When I yell 3, we go crazy. 1, 2, 3, go!
Let's go! I'm fired up right now. That was such an epic video. Okay, let's get some takeaways, you guys. I got a lot of nuggets. Rox, what you got?
What's up, you guys? So some of my major takeaways were, I love the very beginning of the part where you talked about the secret of life and the secret to living is giving. For me, I remember in a time space in my life where I used to consistently be in a scarcity mindset, like there's not enough money, there's not enough, there was just never enough. And I remember what that feeling felt like, but for me, I personally had to make a conscious effort to get out of scarcity thinking. And by doing so, some of the things that I remember I tried was like giving money to homeless people, even when I didn't have a whole lot of money. Because now you're not so attached, but then that feeling of just giving feels so much better. And you know that, and you don't do it for the reward, but you know that in giving, the universe will always reward you 1,000-fold, Just think about everything that's here on this earth. There's not just one tree. There's millions and billions of trees all on the planet, water, all of these things that the universe just gives. So why would it be any different with us? But it's all created inside our mind because we have the power to create and program our own minds along with the people in our lives. So that was one of my biggest takeaways. And then I also loved how he talked about that an extraordinary life comes from achievement. And through that, consistently find ways to keep on growing and to keep evolving and to keep finding peaks that are going to rise you higher, because that's where true fulfillment comes from. But you also have to train your mind to be happy and learn how to train your mind to be in a state of happiness, because like he said, you don't want to reach success and not be fulfilled, because that's just as worse as failing. So find ways to consistently achieve, but then also find ways to continuously make your mind happy. But it all starts with your body composition. Don't be down, but be up, and those kinds of things.
Awesome. Great takeaways. On top of that, a couple of ones that I really loved is the cultural hypnosis. He said, why is it normal sometimes for people to feel down? He said, what are some of the things that you think are normal? And, what are your habits of movement around there? If you think it's normal to be down, why do you think that? This is the time where we get to bring awareness to what we believe the norm is. That's why I love the phrase great morning. It's it doesn't have to just be a good morning. It doesn't have to be just morning. It can be a great morning, and that can become your normal if you so choose. I think it's just time that we take back awareness and choose intentionally what we want, not what the culture, not what your parents, not what your school, or not what you randomly picked up from some commercial are going to tell you how life is. I really love that one. This was such a crucial one. He said, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. He said, your brain will not make you happy. Your brain is not supposed to make you happy. So your brain is all those thoughts that you have, which is normal. You're going to have thoughts pop up all the time. Your brain was a tool given to you, but you are not your brain. You are not those thoughts. It is your tool to be mastered by you. And one thing that was such crucial for me is your brain will not make you happy unless you program it so. Meaning that success is not automatically happiness, because you can succeed in the wrong things. There's been times where I've succeeded in the wrong things, and then you get to that point, it's like, I'm successful, but I'm not happy. Is this all there is? So intentionally programming your brain, which is a tool given to you to get to where you want to. Remember, the art of fulfillment, your personal destiny, your personal mission, your personal happiness. And what I've really seen is that your happiness will only come from you aligning with your destiny. Your happiness will never come when you align with somebody else's destiny. Oh, I'm looking at here, they do this, I'm not as good as them. That's not your happiness. Or mastering things that aren't the right things to master. Like, you know, I used to master partying. I used to master hanging out. I used to master kicking it with the homies. I was a master sensei at those things. But they're not the right things to master forever. You know, I wanted to learn how to master contribution. I wanted to learn how to master developing myself. I wanted to learn how to master helping others. I wanted to learn how to master my finances. I wanted to learn how to master a family life. Those are things that when I have aligned with the mastery of that, brought me happiness. So I really love that. In business, fall in love with your ideal customer. How much you, for all the Herbalifers on the line, because I know we have a lot of Herbalifers, how much you fall in love with your customer every day? How much are you providing value for them every day? And then a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. Remember, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So why not try on the belief is, I don't need an excuse to feel good. I really like that. Oh, you got any takeaways you want to add?
No.
You good today? Yeah. All right, let's get a few from the call-in line. If you're excited to share, let's get a big thumbs up or a smile, or just look at me and I'll call on you. There you go. Let's see. Okay, my man Joseph, let's get it. Hit him with it. I unmuted you.
All right. So this morning, this whole meeting this morning was extremely powerful for me. I had a breakdown moment. I was crying. And the reason why is this. I keep talking about how, for me, Herbalife was in the book of life for me. And every single day, something happens that ties to Herbalife that speaks to that. And this morning was no different. For those of you that didn't see my message this morning, I'm dealing with a lot of back pain. And it's moved to my sciatic nerve, and walking has become extremely painful. Sleeping, I got almost no sleep last night. I've just been in tears all night long. And my point here is that his message this morning came to me as gratefulness. Being grateful to even be up and moving around. It is exactly what I need this morning, because it's weird, but it was like it was the medicine I needed for the pain that I was experiencing this morning. And it was just it just reinforced the message that I sent this morning, which was, you can't let anything get in your way. You've got to overcome every single obstacle. You have to be, like he said, you feel good just to feel good. And trust me, right now, I don't feel good, but I'm telling myself, you're going to feel good anyways, because no matter what, you could not have the option to feel anything, because I could not be here. I could not be present. I could not be on this earth anymore. So that was my takeaway this morning, was just that what I'm thinking is what I need to continue to think.
Super powerful. Love that. Hope you feel better, man. But, you know, I love that takeaway. That perspective is one that'll serve you. I love that. Let's get another takeaway. Who's excited? Let me see a smiley face. Let me see you looking at me. Oh, my man Brooks. Let's get it. All right, Brooks, hit him with it. You're unmuted.
What's up? So my big takeaway is success without fulfillment. I have a prime example. I was in a past relationship, and she was very successful. She made 6 figures, but she wasn't happy, you know, and it kind of reflected in our relationship. You know, she was one week, like 2 weeks, she was going on vacation. She was going to Cuba, Cancun, and Mexico. Great vacation. Anybody be super happy about that. Like, but when I asked her, okay, you're excited to get rich? I know. I got to work on my emails. What's going to suck when I get back? I'm going to be so stressed out. I don't know. I said, wait a minute. You're going on vacation people dream of, and you're still worried about work? And, you know, I said, maybe you're not in the right line of work. You know, she's very successful in her job. You know, she makes 6 figures, but that's not what she likes to do. Her passion was event planning. She wanted an event plan. I said, maybe you should take a chance and maybe quit your job and do something that you love, because even though you're successful, you're not happy. You're going on vacation people would dream of, but you're still worried about work. You know, and how can you enjoy your vacation if you're not worried about work? And also, my takeaway is being happy. You know, it's going to be a great morning. Some people ask me when I go to work, hey, Anthony, how you doing? How you morning? I said, it's okay. You know, just got to want to be there. I had to change my way of thought. Some people say I have quote unquote resting, you know what, face. I had to learn how to smile. Because like you said, your face and how your body language affects how you affect others. So that's something I have to work on myself. So being more positive, making myself smile is something that is very contagious. Something I want to work on myself.
Nice, man. I see the difference in you, Brooks, Anthony, killing it, man. The growth of the awareness first brings so much. I love it. Great shares and great takeaways today. Unless we have one more person that's like fired up to share. Put your hand up if you're like, yo, I got to share. I got this nugget I want to share. All right, cool. We'll let you sit on it for next week. But want to thank you guys for tuning in live. Thank everybody that's watching in the recording. This is how we get our Monday started every single week and how we grow throughout our week. We don't just go through our week. We don't just make it through our week. We grow through our week. We get from our week everything that we want for the happiness and fulfillment. So I thank you guys, because each one of us all coming together on the call makes it the call, makes it the Triple M show. Because without you guys, it would just be Roxy and I here sitting watching a video by ourselves. And that's not that fun because we don't get to see all you guys. So I'm going to post this to YouTube. Upload it, watch it again, take some more nuggets, share it with your friends, repost it on your Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, everywhere. YouTube.com/DrAubreyWellness is where all the Triple M links will always be. And I just thank you guys. I'm going to unmute you guys for some quick energy, and then we're out of here. Let's get it. Adios.
Hey! Turn up, turn up, turn up.
Hey. Peace.